You're Never Too Old for Space Camp by Tom Anselm, Ch.1. Why'd they have to pick yellow? I wondered as the school buses rolled into the lot. A black girl with blue eyeshadow and pink fingernails over by the door glanced at me with an absent look, then went back to checking her cell phone. Over by the benches, 3 would-be studs were crowding around a lass who was obviously what one would call an early bloomer. She was drinking up the attention until one of the guys accidentally broke wind, and loudly at that. With a roll of her eyes and an "oh my God," she spun off in search of friends to hug and squeal with. As for the 3 young men, they collapsed into puddles of laughter, beating each other on the back of calls of "what a dork" and "you are a loser," and other less printable epithets. Ah, yes, it was that time-honored moment, the exact end of summer, the beginning of who knows what will happen. It was the first day of school at Cedar Grove Middle School. "So, Joe, I can see you haven't gotten any brains over the summer," said a voice to my right. It was Eddie Rayleigh. Eddie and I had gotten to Cedar Grove within a few years of each other. We had played in a softball league together before that, and I had told him about the job opening up at social studies at the school. It was hard to believe that it had been over 15 years ago. We no longer played softball, by the way. "Mr. Rayleigh, sir. Hey, I guess we're both dummies since you were standing there too." It was standard practice for teachers to complain about how fast the first day of school comes, even though most of us still felt that tingle of coming attractions that we had felt as kids. But whereas it used to be, "who will be in my class?" or "will that pretty red-haired girl sit next to me?" now it's, "will I be able to do this for yet another year?" Eddie smiled. "How was your summer? Overall, I mean." "Good enough. Got a lot done around the house, to Julie's delight. Played a ton of golf, some with you, if you recall. Drank some beer, also with you. All in all, successful," I said as a row of long yellow vehicles fouled the curbside with diesel exhaust. "Lucky you. 3 weeks ago, I had to go down to Texas to help my mom and dad move into an assisted living place. Pretty nice place, but they hated to leave their house. Then, when I'd been home for a week, I got a call in the middle of the night that Dad had died. Just sitting there in his recliner one afternoon watching The Price is Right. Mom thought he was nodding off like he usually did. An hour later, she went to wake him to see what he wanted for dinner. And that was that." Really choked up a bit, turned his head. "Peaceful way to go, I guess." "Oh man, why didn't you call me? I had no idea." "Nobody did," Eddie shrugged. "That's okay. Besides, it was in Texas and they wanted to be buried there. They'd been there almost 20 years. The funeral was small since most of their friends were dead anyway. Dad had one brother, but he passed away a couple of years ago. Mom's here with us now, so we can get things squared away." Over by the door, Miss Pink Fingernails was howling, "Go ahead and bring it then. Bring it on." Rayleigh saluted me and strode slowly over to the scene. "Now, children, first day jitters? Let's see if we can at least get into the building before we get suspended. What do you say, huh?" Mr. Rayleigh, we just playing, man, said a smallish boy with a budding afro. Yeah, just playing is all, Mr. Rayleigh, said the girl, now smiling at the big teacher. I looked over at Rayleigh. He seemed to have the situation well in hand. Literally. He led the two off to see our beloved administrator in charge of discipline, Mr. Wilton X. Davis III, in spite of the kids' claims of a truce. He glanced at me over his shoulder. Have a great year, Joey. Catch you at lunch. He had a firm but benevolent grip on each kid's arm. I turned my attention to the scene before me. The sidewalks were filled up by now, buses having disgorged their contents like big yellow hoses. It was a diverse gathering. Black kids, white kids, mixed and Asian. A few girls wearing designer jeans, their heads covered with white scarves hanging down their backs. A boy who looks like he's about 10 years old. Another who might have driven to school. Young women wearing long jean skirts, their hair past their back pockets. A girl, I think, wearing black eyeshadow, black jeans that could fit two people, and a spiked dog collar. A dog collar. Oh, Mr. Principal. I said a short prayer for all of them. Mr. Akers, may I see you a moment? My prayer was interrupted by the Venerable Joanna C. Sloan, Ph.D., Assistant Principal. We dropped the Vice Principal moniker a few years ago. Too negative, said the school board. Dr. Sloan, as she demands to be addressed, even by those who have known her for years, is already in a lather about something or other. Mr. Akers, Call me Joe. What? Oh, fine. Mr. Akers, you're supposed to be at door 15. This is door 17. She waited for my response, hands on hips. I looked at her and flashed her my best fake smile. Oopsies. My bad, as the kids say. I guess I should have read the memo, huh? She failed to see the sarcasm, mild as it was. As I moved dutifully to my correct post, Dr. Sloan was already off to make the sidewalks safe for democracy, barking orders into her walkie-talkie. She managed an exasperated glance my way just to make sure I was heading in the right direction. How long till the bell? You a teacher here? I turned to see a man-child blocking the sun, about 6'2" and 220 if he was a pound. I instinctively felt the need to make a good impression on this creature. I smiled. Well, good morning to you, sir. He paused, then grinned wildly. Thank God. First, I'm afraid I had no idea what time it is. Are you really in that big a hurry to get inside? And second, yes, I am a teacher here. Name is Mr. Joe Akers. I extended my hand. This future All-State offensive lineman looked at my hand. He engulfed my fingers in a mitt the size of a baseball glove. But he didn't know how to properly shake hands, something I find more and more in kids these days. All soft and awkward. A social ineptitude that needs correcting. But not right now. Davon Arnold, he offered in a deep, husky voice. And yeah, I got to get my schedule for classes. We just moved here and my mama registered me, but I got no schedule. Nice to meet you, Davon. Here's what you do. You're at the wrong door. We had something in common. Go around to the front double doors, the blue ones, and when the bell rings, go to the guidance office. Can't miss it. First door on the right. They have schedules for all the new students. Devon gives me a look that I couldn't quite figure out. Does he think I'm just another white guy teacher who is messing with him? Or is he really unsure what to do? New kid, no lay of the land yet. He continued to look at me. I began to get uncomfortable. Then he grinned, a gold tooth prominent in the front. Yeah, thanks. Guidance, right? Sounds like a winner, I said, breathing easily again. And good luck, pal. He worked his way through the crowd like Moses parting the Red Sea. Remember me with kind thoughts, big man, I said as I watched him go. The last buses trailed each other off the lot and air quality improved measurably. The morning sky was achingly blue, nearly cloudless. Light breeze, about 70 degrees. Last Monday, about this time, I was driving my Max Fly Noodle into the woods off the third tee at Eagle Cove golf course. Ah well, as the Beatles said decades ago, oobla-dee, oobla-da. Life goes on. Yeah. I have made the mistake once again of standing directly under the outside loudspeaker. As the bell, which is really not a bell but a mechanical tone, rattled my teeth, I pulled open the freshly planted blue double doors and marveled at the kids' Pavlovian response. Short of salivating, our little puppies herded themselves nicely, funneling through the doorway, then splitting into different directions in search of what? Let us discover the answer to this together, I said out loud to Miss Pink Fingernails gliding by, jamming a cell phone into her size XXX purse. She looked at me like I was goofy. And you know what? She just might be right.